In this session, we will focus on some common errors that you may come across while working with Excel. To begin with, we have the hash div0 error, also what we call as just the div0 error, and then we have the ref error, hash ref error, and then we also have the hash value error or the value error, and then there is also the NA error. Now, before we dig into these errors and try to understand why and how they occur and how do we fix them, it would be great if we have some case or an example in hand so that we can better understand how these work. So let us consider this case of a bakery that manufactures some products such as bread, pastries, muffins, cookies, donuts. Now this could be donuts or just we might type it as donuts. That's absolutely fine. I would just leave this to initial spelling. And then we also have some more information about daily production. Now this would be in terms of units. And then we also have something called as production hours. So to begin with bread, we have 500 units produced every day and 300 units of pastries, muffins 500 units, cookies it's 1500 units. And then we also have donuts and that's 300 units every day. Production hours, it takes 25 hours to manufacture 500 units. And that makes me wonder how many units are manufactured every hour. So meanwhile, let me also put this average units per hour. And also I would like to know what is the average monthly production. So I say average, in short I type monthly production. Again in brackets I type units that I'm referring to over here. Units, close the bracket, and here I'll replace the word average with just short form AVG just to save the space, and let's say we'll select this and wrap text, and this is not good. Let me expand this slightly. Daily production units, we have this perfect. Production hours, now average units spent or average units per hour, and then the average monthly production. We have everything in 2 lines and I make them look bold. Perfect. Now let me make this look like a table here. So I apply all borders. We are good to go. Now I would like to know the average units per hour. So how do we calculate that? We take the daily production units and divide it by the total time it takes to manufacture that much or to produce that much. So that's 25 hours. We divide it and we get this. Now I know that this formula will work successfully for all the other products as well. So let me just drag this formula down and say, wait, what is this error here? So what do we see here? A series of div0 errors? Well, the formula is correct. I have some number over here, the production units, and I divide it by hours or the time it takes. That's perfect. That's exactly what we did earlier. Now, although this is a blank cell, but still the linking is correct. It could have given me a 0 or at least leave it blank until then. But Excel is giving me hash div0 error. Well, let me check this out. The moment I enter the number 30 over here, that means 30 hours to manufacture 300 units of pastries, and I hit enter. So that means the formula is working perfectly fine, but just because we do not have any data over here, it returns an error message, or rather more of an alert. So that's absolutely normal, and the moment someone enters the data over here, this will work perfect. Now just imagine if this were to be a template and you leave these cells blank. and give it to someone and just tell them enter the numbers and you will get the result. Well, at first glance, anyone would feel perplexed just looking at this set of errors. It would appear as if you have done a shoddy job or you have not done your job properly. So it would be really embarrassing, and I would like this to be fixed. Maybe if there is no data over here, either leave this result as blank, just show a blank, or at least put a 0 here, but at least I do not want to see an error here and leave me embarrassed. So in Excel, we have a function called if_error, and that can help us fix this. So let me double click. We have this entire function. I would encapsulate this within the if_error function, and this will bail you out. You have this entire expression here. Excel will run this expression, and the moment if it were to return any of these errors, then it comes to the if_error function, and if_error function will execute anything that you specify in this section, that is value if_error. You want to leave this blank, then you can just put double quotes here, 2 double quotes, and close the bracket. It's blank. Well, in case if you do not want double quotes and you want this to be 0, that's absolutely fine. Just put a 0 and hit enter, and that still works. Let's copy this down over here. I would just drag this down, and great. Now this does not look like an error, but still it indicates that the number is it's still 0 because we did not enter anything. The moment I enter, let's say 25 here, we get the right number. And the moment, let's say I put 1, well, you see, it works. What if I put in -1 or -1? It still returns an answer, but definitely not an error or not even a 0. So let's see, now we enter 30, 20, 15, and 10. We have this ready, and if I were to wipe this out, we have all zeros over here. So that's perfect. And this is how we can handle the hash div0 error, or just what we say, the div0 error. So every time you get this, do not worry, just check what exactly went wrong. If you see this error, that means definitely of the 2 fractions that you're dividing, the numerator of the 2 values that you have referred in your fraction over here or your expression, the denominator, the red cell here in this case, might be either blank or 0, and that's the reason it's causing this error. So now let us find out the monthly production, average monthly production, and on an average we have 30 days in a month. That's on an average. I know that there are a few months which have 30 days and some months with 31 days, and not to forget about February, which has 29 days on every leap year, but generally have just 28 days. But here at a very macro level, we are assuming 30 days in a month, and so days in month. We have 30 days in a month, right? So let's try this out. We have 500 units every day. I multiply this with 30 and we have this result. Now in one of the earlier sessions, I mentioned about the importance of using the $sign for row reference for any of your references. So here we want this reference to change, but we do not want the red cell reference to change. They should be pointing to this. So I hit enter and I can just copy, paste it here and select these cells and just paste it at one shot. Done. So we have them. Let's test it out. Yes, that's perfect. All right, so we have this ready and it seems to be presentable, but I want the days and month to appear over here. So I'll just copy this and paste it here. Now I do not want 30 twice. Now that's kind of duplicacy. So let's remove this. I'll remove this here. I will right click and just click on delete. Shift cells left, cells up, row or anything. So I do not want to delete the entire row or entire column. It's okay if I shift cells up because there is nothing going wrong below this. No other tables or data will be impacted. Well, if that's the case, if anything gets impacted from below, you might want to consider shift cells left. That means the cells on the right may shift towards the left for this particular and replace the one that we are deleting. So I click on OK. And take a look at this. We have a href error. Why? We have 30 over here. I had just copied it, right? But I did not cut and paste it. I just copied it over here, and that's where it went wrong. Because here, before I deleted it, let me show you, I'll undo this. Before I were to delete this, I double click and see everything was referring to this 30 and not this 30. Now just imagine you're working on massive set of data and you would have had similar repetition somewhere and you accidentally delete the one which has been frequently used in formulas. Or maybe there are some formulas which you have this 30 being referred, and in some other formulas we have another 30 being referred, again for the same purpose. Then whichever ones you delete, you will get some cells with href error. How do you fix this?